Well, here we are looking at the clutch on the Watsonian Bullet 500 trials machine, and I'm hopefully going to demonstrate that the clutch pressure plate at least is lifting evenly. I've got the machine in gear. I'm going to pull the clutch in by hand now and spin the rear wheel, and we should see the pressure plate spinning round. And notice that I've got the clutch pulled in and the lift on that pressure plate is pretty even and uniform, but there isn't really a great deal of it, and I'm using up the full range of handlebar lever movement to get that tiny amount of pressure plate lift. So I'm going to have to see what I can do about that. And it's got, as you can possibly see, it's got one of these levers which really sort of compromises the range of movement you get on the clutch cable, and you need more movement than that. I know that not everybody can sort of reach the lever if it's further away, but there's just not enough movement. The ratio of the clutch operating mechanism internally doesn't really sort of suit this style of handlebar lever and the range of movement that it gives. If we look at my old 1955 green liner, for example, look how much room for movement we got there, and I've actually got a lot of free play on that lever too. I don't have to have the cable adjusted right up, and except in extreme circumstances like when the clutch overheated in the woods that time when I was green lining with friends, I can always pull the clutch in and get neutral very easily and get good clean positive gear changes, because I've got that little bit more linear movement on the clutch cable. It pulls the cable further than this lever here will permit. So what I propose to do is take this lever off, and I'm going to carefully grind a little bit of material away from it to enable it to sort of come out away from the handlebars just a little bit more, and that will give us a little bit more linear movement on the clutch cable, and hopefully a little more lift to the pressure plate, which will help the clutch release and reduce its tendency to drag. And the owner has mentioned in his list of things he'd like me to look at that there was no free play at the lever. Well, if it was adjusted so there was free play, you'd probably find that even with the lever pulled right back to the handlebars, the machine would still probably try and move under its own power if it was in gear. So I'm going to try and just grab us a little bit more cable pull by just grinding a small amount away from where the lever comes to a stop against its housing, and that should hopefully help, if not entirely cure, the situation. But the clutch itself on this one obviously doesn't need touching at all. The lift is nice and even, as I said. There's just not much of it, so I'm going to see what I can do about that next.